Hey everyone, Train Guy 1969 here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you something a little different, something that I picked up on Facebook Marketplace, and that is this Lionel 240 locomotive and its matching Rio Grande tender. And along with that, I picked up a number of freight cars. Now this is a little different from what you're probably used to, because in all my other videos, I'm highlighting, for the most part, my HO scale stuff. This particular set, like I said, I got it off of Marketplace. A gentleman had them for sale. He had them at a really good price. And there's something a little bit different, a little unique. Thought I'd add it to my collection just to have something a little bit more from my childhood, from my youth. Now, growing up, I had Bachmann. I didn't have the Lionel series. But when I saw this and saw the price, I just couldn't resist grabbing it. Now, the neat thing about this locomotive, like I said, it is an O-scale locomotive. It is AC, and it runs on the 3-rail track system. So if those of you familiar with Lionel know that on these particular locomotives, you'll see they've got that bit of brass in the middle and the pickups. So the electricity goes through the 3rd rail in the track, and the 2 rails for the wheels, that's simply there for the train to roll along. Now, this particular locomotive, I think it was built back in the late 70s, 76, 77, 78, somewhere around there. It came from a starter kit, so it's not overly detailed. It is one of Lionel's cheaper products that they put out. The interesting thing about it is if you take a look at the tender here, it has this piece on the bottom which is filled with beads. And when it rolls along on the track, it makes a noise as if it's the chugging of the locomotive. So that's something that Lionel had put out back in the late 70s in order to give you some sense of quote-unquote realism. So it's a couple of beautiful rail cars, not a huge amount of detail. Everything's just molded into the plastic. It does have a working headlight. And one thing you'll notice on this locomotive is this little switch right here. And this little switch is what you change in order to change the polarity and the direction of the locomotive if you wanted to go forwards or backwards. Now, along with this locomotive and the tender, it also came with this chassis system hopper and another hopper, this time in a Burlington hopper. It came with a flat deck car, and last but not least, it came with a caboose. And again, these are starter set products. They're not the most prototypical, they're not the most detailed, but it is just a fun little addition to have. A number of years ago, a friend of our family gave me his Marx O-scale train set. That's one probably from the 1950s. I'm in the process of fixing it up and trying to get it up and running. So hopefully I'll be able to show you that one in a future video. But what we're going to do is we're going to get this out on the track and we'll show you how it runs, and we'll bring it back in and take a closer look at all the pieces. So we'll be back in just a minute. And here we are back at the track with our 240 locomotive and tender, and we have all the different rail cars hooked up. As you can see, it is a 3-rail track. And of course, as I mentioned, this runs on AC power as opposed to DC power. So we have an old Lionel AC transformer. We're going to get her up and running around the track and see how well this little train set runs. So here we go. You can hear the chugging sound. Now, I don't know how long this train has been sitting, so I'm going to have to do some work oiling it and things. But it seems to be running quite well. And we'll bring her back into the station here. And there you have it. So again, this is an old Lionel 240 in the Rio Grande livery. This was from a starter set put out by Lionel back in the late 1970s. Not the most prototypical, definitely more of a toy than a model. But for people who love the Lionel lines, this would have been one that a lot of kids would have probably had as a starter set. Great little train. We're going to try to get it to go forward again. I noticed that the switch there that I mentioned earlier, sometimes it switches back on its own, so we may see it go backwards, but we'll see which way it goes. And like I said, I'm going to have to work on these a little bit. So it started it backwards, give it a stop, and now she goes forward. There we go. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Look forward to putting out more videos for you in the future. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Take care of yourselves. Have a great day.